Hello, my YouTube peeps. Thought I'd come on and give you some updates of what's going on with everything in my life and transplant updates and such. So, I'm going to bring Sammy on just because he will be going to a new home soon. As I told you guys that when I first got Sammy, hold on, let me adjust a little bit the camera. There we go, so you can see him better. That he looks like my nephew. Even though when this baby was painted, he wasn't even coming directly to me. I got him from Sandra. But he literally looks like a portrait baby of my nephew. So ever since I got this baby, my sister has wanted him. And, of course, told me that if I ever got rid of him, she had first dibs. So, when I decided to sell Sammy to help with medical expenses and such, I didn't post him for sale because I knew my sister would take him. And of course, as soon as I let her know that she could purchase him, she was super excited. But he is on a payment plan with my sister, so he will be with me for just a little while. I'll get to enjoy him a little bit longer. I didn't, want to get rid of this baby, but you do what you gotta do. In times of need and things. So I just thought I'd bring him on and let you guys see him. I did change his shirt from what came with this outfit, but I thought this shirt went really good with it. I love the shirt that came with it, but just to mix up his outfit a little bit, I did change his shirt. So as far as transplant updates go, we did have a cardiology appointment for Tony yesterday for a stress test, which is one of the tests that the transplant center is requiring before he actually gets put on the transplant list. But we did have a hiccup. Tony is not able to do the treadmill stress test. He has to do the chemical stress test because he's had surgery on his knees several years ago, but he's not able to do the treadmill part for the amount of time that it requires for the stress test. So as soon as they started giving him the medications for the chemical stress test, he started having jaw pain. And so the technician administering the test went and got the doctor. And he came in and told him to give him medication to help. And so the doctor asked Tony how he was doing. And he was like, well, the jaw pain is better, but it feels like I've been grinding my teeth for hours. He said, the pain's still there, but it is better. Well, the doctor, when Tony said that, and he looked at the EKG that was going on and everything, he told the technician, no, reverse it. Give him a certain medication to reverse all the medications that they'd given him for the chemical side of the stress test. So the cardiologist has said they will do a test on the 26th, which it basically tells them the same information as what a heart cath would give them, but it's non-invasive. They give him diethyrin IV, and then they do a CT scan. And so that will tell them basically the same information as a heart cath, but not have to be as invasive. Now, depending on what that test tells them, they may have to do a heart cath to place a stent or, whatever needs to be done. So that is the update on the side of our transplant journey. One of the appointments that Charleston wanted him to have was a urology appointment, because his bladder is showing that it's really small, due to the fact that it hasn't, it's atrophied because he hasn't been peeing for about 4 years now. So his bladder doesn't have to work. So all of his, quote, urine, it's not really, is done by dialysis. All of the filtering and, what we get rid of when we pee and everything, it's done through dialysis. He doesn't have urine output anymore. So due to the fact that his bladder has atrophied so much, they want him to have a urology appointment and check into that. They have called to schedule that appointment, but because that appointment is in Charleston, we asked that they kind of put that on hold, and once we get everything cleared with cardiology, we will call them back to schedule that appointment. Because the fact is, if he can't get clearance through cardiology, then it doesn't matter if he gets clearance through urology, and they also want him to have a pulmonology appointment. So if he can't get clearance through the cardiology, there's no need in those appointments, because he's not going to be able to get on the transplant list anyway. But we know that we're going to eventually get cardiology clearance. It's just we may have to do some procedures first to get that clearance. And then once we get that clearance, we will move on with the urology clearance, and then, of course, the pulmonology. So that is the update on that part of our transplant journey. Now, something else I wanted to talk to you guys about is I do have Gabby for sale. That's her name in my collection. She is the Serena sculpt. And once again, not really a baby I want to sell. I love all my babies, guys. But this needs to be done for medical reasons. Because I also need to have an appointment with a neurosurgeon. I talked about it on a couple videos ago. I think it was that my legs and part of my body is going numb, because they think it's because the leads on my internal stimulator have moved and they're laying on nerves. Because like on my left side, I'm numb from my ribs down. On the right side, I'm numb from my hips down. And it has been causing issues with balance and being able to walk and all that kind of stuff. And I was able to get a walker. I got that done, so praise the Lord for that, so that when I go out, I have something to kind of keep me more steady. And it's one of the walkers that has a seat on it, so that if I do just feel too unstable or whatever, I can sit on that seat and take a break till I can get my bearings. So I've got that. But we do live in a rural area, and the only place, I haven't actually received a call from them to schedule the appointment yet. The doctor's office said it would probably be, my PCP's office said it would probably be sometime next week. But the only neurosurgeon that they have gotten to say that they might even accept me is in Lexington, which is about 3 hours from here. All the other neurosurgeons, which any of them is going to be at least an hour and a half drive. But all the other ones that they tried to get me into won't accept me without an MRI. And due to my internal stimulator, I can't have an MRI. Back when I had mine placed in 2011, there was no such thing as MRI safe internal stimulators, or at least that I'm aware of. Later on, they did come out with stimulators that you can put them in MRI mode with your remote, and then it's safe to have an MRI. Mine does not have that feature, so most of them weren't willing to accept me without an MRI. So the one in Lexington is reviewing everything to see if they're going to accept me or not. So I'm going to need funds for those trips and everything, and it's looking like, from what I know about the internal stimulator and kind of what my PCP has said and everything, we're looking at they will have to remove it. And then, of course, possibly place another one where the leads are in the right place. But that's not going to happen. If they have to take this one out, that's it. I'm done. I'm not having another one put in. It just, to me, the benefits don't outweigh the side effects. It does help some, but to me, not enough to go through what you have to go through. And like I said, all the side effects. So, that's why Gabby is up for sale. Right now, I have her for sale for $6.50, and that would include the shipping and a box opening. But I've also posted on my wall for a possibility of a waffle for her. But at this time, I haven't gotten enough response, to actually start that. So, if you would be interested in a waffle for this baby, please comment either down in the comments of this video or on the post that I have on my YouTube wall. This is her cute little face. And take her pinky off. She's a gorgeous baby, guys. Absolutely gorgeous. And she is weighted to perfection. She is definitely one of my favorite dolls in my collection. Now, as far as the waffle goes, I'm looking at what I was thinking, and everybody can put their suggestions in the comments, if you're interested in a waffle on her. I was thinking either $25 a slot, and there would be 30 slots, or $30 a slot, and there would be 25 slots. And if there's enough interest in the waffle and I start that, I would probably have it end on May 1st, because I know people that are buying slots for a waffle don't want to wait forever on that. We do still have the waffle for the Yeti going on, and it's been going on for a while. But I will continue to let that go until the 15 slots are full. But as far as she goes, I'd let it run till May 1st, and if all the slots aren't full, I would then refund everybody's money. So, if you would be interested in that, comment down below and, give me suggestions on, if you think I should raise the price for each slot and have less slots, or, put in there what you would want to do as far as how much you'd want to pay for a slot and everything if you're interested in a waffle for her. I think that's about all the updates and everything that I had for everybody. There's a lot going on right now. Like I said, Tony's appointment didn't go well yesterday. He wasn't feeling great in the beginning of today, and we started a dialysis treatment, and it sounds like he's starting to feel better, but if he doesn't improve quite a bit, we will be going to the hospital after treatment. And Harlan does not have, which is the closest hospital to us, but they don't really have much of cardiac care there. So if we have to go to the hospital, we will either be going to Manchester or Pikeville. And I will keep you guys updated on that as well, whether we wind up having to go to the hospital or the treatment did the trick and we're just going to see how things go. What really worries me about how he felt this morning is because of, you know, how the stress test went yesterday. So we're just waiting to see how he feels, because if the dialysis doesn't take care of it, then it may be a cardiac issue going on. And my father-in-law also had a heart surgery a couple days ago. He had a heart valve replacement done, and he's not doing too well with that. His oxygen levels are too low, and despite the fact that they have him on oxygen as high as they can go, it's still not doing very good. He's, you know, not making sense when he talks and everything. So, if you guys are the praying type, if you would also add my father-in-law to your prayers. I don't really want to mention his name just because I don't know how he would feel about that. But, you know, if you pray for Tony's dad, God knows who you're speaking of. Our dad. Yes, he's like my father. And, you know, I mean, it's really sad to say I loved my biological father. But to be honest with you, I'm actually closer with my father-in-law than I was my dad. You know, like I said, I loved my dad, and it was sad when he passed. But it was more the circumstances of how my dad passed that made it the saddest, because my dad's health wasn't in a position where he had much quality of life, and he was ready to go. You know, he was ready to go and be with the Lord just because he didn't have a quality of life. But yes, my father-in-law is even more like my dad than my own dad. I grew up around my father-in-law. My mom worked with him and his wife, which is Tony's mom and dad. And we always did things together. We'd go to the lake together, and, you know, we went over to their house all the time. I mean, I was around them all the time when I was a kid. So I'm very close to him. And, you know, if circumstances were different with Tony, I would make a way to be in Oklahoma right now to be with him. But I can't do that because, you know, Tony has upcoming cardiology appointments that we need to find out what's going on with him. So now, as it is, all I can do is just pray and leave it in God's hands. So, I always forget to do this, but if you're new here, welcome. I hope you decide to stay and subscribe to my channel, getting all tongue-tied. And if you're not new, welcome back, and thank you for returning. And I'd like to ask you, you know, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please do so. Like this video and, you know, share it with your dolly friends. See if we can get this channel to grow. And of course, my goal is to share my dolls and everybody get to enjoy them, but it's also to help bring awareness to some of the struggles that people go through with organ failure. You know, in Tony's case, it's kidney failure, but I'm sure, you know, people that have liver failure and things like that, I'm sure that those things are also a big juggling act, just like kidney failure is. So I think that's everything that I needed to say, guys. I'm sorry my brain is all over the place with everything that's going on, but I hope everybody has a beautiful day. And thank you for coming and spending some time with me. I do know how valuable time is. So that, you know, just that you would come and spend some of your time with me, that means a lot. And let me know in the comments below, like I said, if you would be interested in a waffle, you know, the details of what you might be interested in as far as the amount, for each slot and all that kind of good stuff. And I just hope you have a beautiful day and a blessed weekend. Happy Friday, everyone. And God bless each and every one of you. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.